Good afternoon and happy Monday, everyone. I'm Stacy Van Dyke. A little relief in the forecast today, above zero at least, but Hutch is warning of some trouble that may be coming our way tomorrow. Hutch?
Stacy, thank you so much. Yeah, winter is going to return, and we've barely not spent 24 hours even above that 0 degree mark. And we're talking about some winter weather conditions. High clouds tonight, and we're enjoying those above 0 degree readings for many of our areas. But we do have some dangerous conditions setting up. Let's start with the snowfall expected. It begins tomorrow in the afternoon out west, and it will work its way from west to east through the region. Where you see the deep blue shades, and this is the core of our viewing area, folks, from the James River Valley and Devils Lake Basin straight through Grand Forks, Fargo, all the way down into Wahpeton, Breckenridge, even Sisseton and Lakes Country. From Bemidji down through Otter Tail County, I'm expecting a healthy band of 2 to 6 plus inches, and there's going to be pockets where we have 4 to 8 plus. The way things are looking, the best chance of that will be in our far northern counties along and north of Highway 2. As things are developing. So we're going to have some tricky travel conditions coming up. It begins by your drive time tomorrow for many. Right now, look at those low temperatures for many of us today, near zero or just above even down south, and high temperatures reaching the 20s in Jamestown and teens here in Fargo. We're on our way down a little bit, and temperatures will get cold this early evening. Then you're seeing at the crawl on the bottom of your screen, winter storm watch for our Red River Valley counties, where we could have that combination of gusty winds over 40 miles per hour with the snow. Winter weather advisory conditions expected out west, and in Minnesota, we're going to have tricky conditions there as well. I'll have hour-by-hour details on this system, what you can expect when it starts, when it ends. We'll look again at the snowfall potential, and then more Arctic air, Stacy. I'll have details on all of that in a moment.
All right. Thanks, Hutch. With more winter weather on the way, make sure you download the Valley News Live weather app. It's free in the App Store. Just search VNL Weather for alerts and updates at your fingertips. With dropping temperatures, you may be hesitant to go outside, but there are impressive outdoor displays across the region that may be worth braving the cold. The new Brighton Ice Castles will open Friday at Long Lake Regional Park. Throughout the acre-sized attraction, visitors can walk through ice-carved tunnels, take a ride on the frozen slide, snap photos on an ice throne, and new this year, walk through a forest light grove. The new Brighton location is one of only 5 ice castle sites in the U.S. and will be the first to open for the season. A scary experience for a pilot in Grand Forks yesterday. The Grand Forks Police Department says the airport received a call for service from a plane that was having mechanical issues and couldn't lower its landing gear. The pilot, who was the only person on board, was able to successfully land that plane without the landing gear, and no injuries were reported. Cass County Sheriff Jesse Johnner will seek re-election to office this year. Johnner was elected to his first 4-year term in 2018 after 20 years as a deputy and correctional officer with Cass County. He says he looks forward to continuing the mission of building strong community partnerships, transparency, providing a high level of public safety, and being forward-thinking. Today is the first day that students at Moorhead schools will see the mask requirement phasing out. Masks will be optional for pre-K students starting today, high school students January 17th, middle school students January 31st, and elementary students on February 14th. They're also replacing in-school close contact quarantines with new testing protocols. The decisions were made at a school board meeting back on December 13th, citing the availability of the COVID vaccine for children. Governor Burgum has announced his North Dakota State of the State address will take place January 19th. Burgum plans to review the past year's historic progress on infrastructure, workforce, economic development, and other priorities. He'll also cover major challenges, including extreme drought conditions and the ongoing pandemic. The event will take place at NDSU, and it'll be live streamed on the governor's office website. President Biden is beginning the new year focused on rising meat prices as he tries to tackle inflation. Today, he spoke with some of the nation's meat producers about his administration's billion-dollar plans to cut costs. Skylar Henry has more from Washington.
President Joe Biden met virtually with farmers, ranchers, and independent processors after announcing new actions aimed at lowering the price of meat.
We're going to ensure that you have the tools you need on a level playing field you deserve. And we're going to fight for fair prices for American farmers, ranchers, and families, all three.
The White House plans to distribute $1 billion of American Rescue Plan funding to expand and diversify the nation's meat processing capacity, in part by helping producers address inspection costs, purchase more equipment, and provide workplace training and safety.
We're excited about being able to have local processing done by local people and then sell directly to the consumer.
The Biden administration is also proposing new rules to crack down on anti-competitive practices and to further clarify the product of the USA label, which for now also includes meat raised overseas and processed here in the U.S.
4 big corporations control more than half of the markets in beef, pork, and poultry. Without meaningful competition, farmers and ranchers don't get to choose who they sell to.
Federal data shows that food costs have soared nearly 7% since around this time last year, with beef prices up more than 20%.
The meats are so expensive now, I can't afford those meats.
The White House is also pushing Congress to pass bipartisan legislation to make cattle markets more transparent. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
U.S. Department of Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack says $375 million in grants to expand and modernize independent processing facilities will be available this spring and summer. And now the third largest pizza chain in the U.S. is raising the price of one of its most popular deals. Little Caesars says its signature $5 hot and ready pepperoni pizza will now cost $5.55. That's an increase of 11%. The restaurant chain said it's because they're adding more pepperoni. Little Caesars says the new price is a permanent change. New for you here at 4. It was a scary experience for shoppers.
It was on the intercom. If you're not in a safe place.
At the Mall of America Friday after a man was shot on the 3rd story, sending the mall into lockdown. Police say a 19-year-old St. Paul man was arrested yesterday afternoon after he was reportedly identified fleeing the scene with the shooting suspect. The Bloomington Police Department says a SWAT team arrested the teen in Roseville for aiding and abetting first-degree assault. The gunman shot one man in the leg after a fight. He is expected to survive. Another man received a minor injury after having been grazed by a bullet. The shooter has yet to be arrested.
It was on the intercom. If you're not in a safe place.
More than a dozen people are recovering from their frostbite-related injuries tonight as the dangerous cold continues to linger, freezing everything in its way. But as Adam Duxter shows us, that hasn't kept Minnesotans from braving the outdoors, even if doing so safely takes more layers than usual.
Today, temps pushed into the negative teens with wind chills even colder than that. And when it's cold enough literally to freeze your face, everything from emergency response to just getting around town becomes a lot more complex.
It's winter's dog days, and the dogs might be the only ones who don't seem to mind. Convincing owners like Justin Rose, -17 isn't too cold to play.
I think I got probably like 3 different shirts on plus a jacket or so, and then this one also needs her jacket.
You ask yourself, why the heck do I live here?
All the time.
But in this case, the frost bite is worse than the bark. More than a dozen cases of it this weekend at HCMC alone, which means enduring the cold takes
layers, lots of layers, and no skin exposed.
And a positive attitude too.
And so you can always think like it could be worse. You know, even if we're in the cold, it could be colder.
But still, just a few minutes of exposure can be lethal. And when you work outside, that makes things complicated.
Just adds another dynamic.
Burnsville Fire using city buses to stay warm, battling the blaze overnight Saturday.
Usually the first, 15 to 30 minutes, you're fine. It doesn't really bother you. It's once you stop that you really get cold.
The good news for everyone, tomorrow brings with it a balmy 24 degrees. And in the meantime,
This is Chester.
making it through the cold could mean leaning into the dog days as much as we can.
It's just like the texture of life. We get to experience life like minus whatever today it is, 20-something, 30-something, and we get to experience life above 100 degrees, and that's something pretty cool that, not a whole lot of people around the world can say.
In Minneapolis, Adam Duxter, WCCO 4 News.
Doctors say if you start losing feeling in your fingers or toes, it's time to get inside. And once you're there, use warm, not hot water to start heating them back up. Lake Superior State University in northern Michigan has put phrases like, wait, what? On its annual list of banished words. The school received thousands of submissions for words or terms that are becoming overused to the point of uselessness. For example, the school says no worries is a meaningless substitute for you're welcome. Phrases like at the end of the day and new normal made reappearances this year after already being banished in 1999 and 2012. Other phrases on the list are that being said, asking for a friend, circle back, supply chain, and you're on mute. Lake Superior State University has released a list of banished words since 1976. Notable alumni include the anchor of Valley News Live at noon, Anna Johnson.